Okay. Hi, Amy.
Hi, B.
We watched Before the 90 Days, Season 8, Episode 5. Any
We sure
opening
did.
comments?
I think I liked this episode. My kitchen was clean before, so I had no excuse for that. But I wanted more.
Mhm.
Really left me wanting more. I wasn't overly irritated. I didn't want to flip my desk. I was, okay. What were your thoughts?
Yes. Yes. Interesting things were revealed in this episode. We're getting into the juicy parts. Oh, sorry. I know you don't like the word juicy. I
Don't.
apologize.
Into the thick of it.
Yes, we're getting into the bushes. Is that better? Probably not. No. Okay. We're getting into I see, I
Not
don't want to use the
opposed.
word meat because I don't want to say we're getting into the meat of it because that's offensive to me.
We're getting into it.
All right. Let's be bland. Sounds good to me. Before we do get into it, let's do a quick 1 and 2. 1, rate, review, and follow us wherever you listen to the podcast. 2, watch us on YouTube at 90 Day Fiancé. Honestly, I have a problem. I can't scroll my screen to see what we're supposed to talk about first because of the cat on my lap. He's demanding attention from both hands.
Okay. Well, let me start.
Who
So
was first?
Sheena and Forrest,
Ha.
they go clothing shopping. And remember, Forrest only brought that backpack.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if anyone considered his size because they were having difficulties finding anything in his size. From what I've heard from people who have gone to, especially Asia, in any place, let alone the Philippines, the sizes are absolutely outrageous. Me being a medium to a large would be like a double extra large, if not a
Yeah.
triple extra large. And this guy he's not a tiny guy. He had some difficult he had some difficulties, and in my comments I said maybe he should just get a bunch of moo like Homer did when he was obese. I'm not saying that Forrest is obese. Uh I myself have a moo and it is one of the most comfortable things that I have ever been gifted. I love it
Okay. Okay.
very much.
Well, eh,
Anyway, they're comfy.
oh, excellent. Um, Moving on from the technical difficulties of finding clothing in a country where most people are a lot smaller than the average American, they do spend a lot of time together without Molly and Dev, which I thought was great. These two
Much
really
needed.
they really need to spend some time alone to talk about things honestly with each other and to, I guess, just get a chance to not have the stress of Molly in their life immediately. So they have this lovely day together, and then they talk about the next meeting that has to take place, the next obstacle in their path, which is for Forrest to meet Sheena's parents. And initially, it sounds like the plan was for all of them to go, Molly and Dev included, to go meet Sheena's parents as a unit. But now Sheena, having seen how Molly is in person, which is delightful, she thinks perhaps it's a better idea for her and Forrest to go on their own, which I wholeheartedly agree with.
I think this is an absolute no-brainer. I think Sheena was absolutely incredible to not only acknowledge this, but to vocalize this to Forrest. I appreciated the fact that he was okay with it. However, I did not appreciate the fact that he was like, "Oh, she's going to be pissed about this." And in
Meaning
the
Molly?
little, yeah, yeah, and him saying, "I don't know how her parents are going to react when they get cut off." Like,
Yeah, that was a bit harsh.
this is not your decision to make,
Hmm.
and we've spoken about this before, how it's just part of the Filipino culture. Like, you help each other out. It's non-negotiable. It's a family thing, and you're not going to get away with telling her to cut her parents off. That is absolutely not going to fly. He needs to slow his roll just as much as his mom does. You really need to learn your place. This is Sheena's money. You really have no say in this. I thought it was absolutely disgusting. Though I loved it when Sheena said that her parents need to approve of him, and he flips. What do you mean?
Yeah.
What?
Well, going back to when it's just Sheena and Forrest talking about meeting the parents and not having Molly and Dev with them, I also reacted very strongly to Forrest saying to Sheena, "You're gonna have to cut your parents off." I feel like she's probably been leading him a little bit down the garden path with regards to her story about how cruel, and I'm putting that in quotation marks, her parents are towards her. Because, yes, we know that it is part of the culture to look after your parents as a grown adult who is earning an income of any kind. And then he seems to be expecting that he's going to be the knight in shining armor who's going to come in and rescue her, which is this narrative that he's invented entirely of his own accord. And she's playing into it. Like they're both in a kind of fantasy land state. And they both seem to think that the only way out of this is to eliminate their respective parents. So Forrest wants to get Sheena's parents out of the equation. Sheena wants to get Forrest's parents away from her. And away from him too. So they both kind of make this pact. She's going to tell her parents to step off, and he's got to tell Molly to back down.
I just want to say that I don't think the pact involves Deb at all. I think he seems to be
Yeah,
the neutral party here.
neutral-ish. Like he didn't stand up at all to Molly last week when they had that horrible interlude in the restaurant, and he just totally kowtowed to her. But I
Yeah,
don't think he's putting anything forward. I think he's just going along with whatever Molly says.
I'm still not quite sure where he stands. I just don't see him as the villain as I do see with Molly. And going back to when I said that Molly's going to lose her marbles when they tell her that she needs to back off, I think it's because she wants to have control over everything.
Oh yeah.
And A, not having control over Sheena's money is one thing. B, not having control over Forrest is
Mhm.
another. There was a C. Anyway, she wants the control.
Yeah.
And this is going to be detrimental to Forrest's relationship with his mom. And I really don't think that they need to placate to her, obviously.
No.
And
No.
again, going back to the fact that Sheena said that her parents need to approve, and Forrest being like, well, she never told me this before. If she had, maybe I wouldn't have reacted this way, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I have never gone into a relationship in all of my years telling my partner, your parents need to go. No, it's always been, I need to I need to be nice to your parents. I need your parents to like me. The last thing that I need is for your parents not to like me. How is going in there with guns blazing, as Molly seems to want to do, how is this going to promote a healthy relationship, let alone a healthy future?
Absolutely, it's not going to achieve that. But I think that Forrest is just so entrenched in his fantasy of this is the narrative that I have where I have to rescue Sheena from her horrible, evil parents. So that's why he's so black and white about it. Cut off your parents. I don't care if they approve of me or not. I'm going to marry you. I'm going to take you away to the United States. For him, it's all about the
I'm the man.
well, I was gonna say gallantry, but maybe that's not even right because I don't feel like he's being gallant. He's just being assertive and like, I'm gonna stand in my power and tell you what's what because you're my woman. That's
Ew.
problematic too, but that's another
Yeah.
story. I want to talk very briefly about the interlude in between Forrest and Sheena having their time together and then the whole family coming together for the second part. So they all go out sightseeing, which is lovely. However, there is this very, very awkward and telling moment when they're in the car and they're driving through this district that Sheena calls the strip club district. And Molly says, "Oh, we should all go." And I just about blew a gasket. This is so incredibly messed up, incestuous vibes to the nines. Why is your mother encouraging you to go to a strip club with her? What is this?
It
Any
would be one
insight?
thing. it would be one thing for my mom to say, let's go to Thunder Down Under.
Yeah.
Never in my wildest dreams would any mother suggest to go to a strip club with women
Mhm.
with her. What does she want to see? It's so gross.
It's totally gross because it's not just well, you can go on your own, Forrest, or you can go with Sheena if that's your bag for the two of you to go have this experience together. She is inserting herself into his sexual life, which is completely inappropriate. If Molly wants to go on her own with Dev, great, go for it. If Forrest wants to go on his own or with Sheena, also great. I have no issue. But to go with your parent, for your parent to actively encourage you to go and to appreciate the female body. I mean, this is not what it is. There's something so incredibly disgusting. The undercurrent here is palpably vomitous.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad
Yeah.
we agree.
Oh, absolutely. I wasn't quite sure how to comment on that because it really caught me off guard. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that on a show before.
Mhm.
And I mean, not even in my life, nor in my studies that I can recall. I just, I hate to say the words, but just so incestuous. Like she wants to be the girlfriend and the mom at the
Yeah,
same time.
yeah. And it's the
Ew.
same when she's asking him if he had sex with Sheena the night before. Like, inappropriate territory, Mom. This is his world, his life. Back off. If he wants to share something with you, if he wants to ask you a question, okay. But you've got to keep a boundary there. You don't mix the two together. That's just, I think Freud would have a heyday and a bunch of other psychoanalysts would go, cha-ching. Let's move on. So I found it also quite hilarious when they were on their tour that Molly decides to buy a hat, which happens to be Vietnamese, not Filipino at all. And she wants to
Yes.
wear that. Cultural appropriation, much? Then we get to the final scene where it's the four of them talking about going to meet Sheena's family and who may or may not be invited to that initial meeting. The thing that really stood out for me that Molly said when she initially found out that Forrest and Sheena don't want her to come to the first meeting with the parents is she said, but I want to be there to stand by your side. To Sheena. That's complete and utter nonsense. This is the opposite reason of why Molly wants to be there. She is not on Sheena's side. She's even said that several times in this episode that she's still suspicious of Sheena. She still has questions. She's obviously completely adversarial towards Sheena in this scene. So the fact that she's lying through her teeth saying, I'm going to stand on your side, that really, really rubbed me the wrong way.
You know what rubbed me the wrong way is when she said, it's not like I'm going to be going in there yelling and screaming. Why would that
Of course
even be on
not.
your mind? Why would that be on your mind? Obviously, you clearly want to, if that's what's coming out of your mouth. So, she's just so aggressive. And she keeps saying that she wants to protect Forrest from Sheena's parents. But what about protecting him from her?
Mhm.
Him from his mom, not
And
Sheena.
Sheena from his mom as well.
Yeah, she
Or even
doesn't
the
see
parents from Molly.
yeah, she doesn't need to be involved in this in any capacity, and I'm really glad that Sheena's laying down the law with this, and I'm glad that Forrest is playing along at least for now. He obviously knows that his mom's not going to be happy about it, but she's just going to turn into the dragon.
I love the fact that he demands respect from her. He says, I'm an adult and I want you to respect this boundary. And those aren't the words he uses, but that's the intent of what he was saying to Molly. And she is absolutely relentless. The way that she was speaking to both of them, pointing her finger at them and talking really slowly and deliberately. It's all things that you do when you're trying to intimidate somebody, when you're trying to be the bully. And yet she manages to turn it around when it's obvious that Sheena and Forrest are not going to capitulate. They're going to go ahead and do what they want to do. Molly starts pulling the victim card. again, even though Sheena is there on the verge of tears because of the horrible things that Molly is saying and her accusatory tone, Molly inventing all kinds of stories for how badly things will go, how the parents will try to influence them and influence her baby boy. It's just disgusting the way that she self-victimizes. Is I think it's the Darvo principle, isn't it? I'm not gonna know the acronym
No,
perfectly.
deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender.
There you go. She is classically following the Darvo principle here. And it's so toxic. It's so bad for Forrest and Sheena. I don't know if they can manage on their own. I really don't. I hope they can, but to have this kind of parental influence in the picture when they're trying to assert their independence and figure out if they can just manage without her, without any parental influence, man, that's a hard road to walk.
I don't want to be there, though I also want to be there to support Sheena. I want to protect Sheena at all costs because she seems to be so pure, so genuine, so kind. Sure, she may have led Forrest to believe that her parents are worse than what they probably are,
Undoubtedly.
though I'm sure she just wasn't comfortable to share with him her dedication to supporting her family and also um the culture.
Mhm. And also, why is this all on her? Why is she the one who has to save everything? Saving all of her money, not saving people or situations. Why
Oh, I
is
was gonna say,
the
he's not saving anything.
No, he's not accumulating a nest egg for them to live off when she eventually comes to the States. He's not doing anything. So yeah, again, I'm puzzled as to why it's all her responsibility. But my final point for this segment is Forrest is absolutely right when he points out that Molly proves his point by her behavior in this segment. And she absolutely needs to be out of this initial meeting because of her attitude, because of how volatile she is. And again, we see Molly attempt to turn the tables and say, "Well, you're not trusting me, Forrest, and why is that?" Hint, hint, it's all Sheena's fault or Sheena's parents' fault. She's trying to guilt trip him all the time into bending to her will, which is completely insidious. That's it. That's all I have to say. You?
I couldn't say it better.
Oh, excellent. Let's read on to Lisa and Daniel. This was the highlight of the week for me. First, let's start off with our comments from last week because we had a
Oh,
couple of listeners chime in on our question surrounding the whole witch doctor scene, right?
yes, please.
Okay, so comment number one on YouTube. Porch Cats Comedy said, in many African societies, the traditional spiritual practices often exist alongside Christianity. Useful information.
Yes, thank you.
Then the second comment we got from a Spotify listener, Telolu, who we've heard from before. Hi, Telolu. She says, "Hey, ladies, that man is in fact a witch doctor. We call them Babalawo in Nigeria. When I was watching, I was screaming, you can't be a Christian and go to Babalawo, Daniel. And that man is 1000% scamming." Actually, I think that's 10,000%. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see how many zeros. But yes, also very useful information. So, with these 2 points of view, I went online because I was like, okay, what is it? Are we allowed to have both Christianity and the Babalawo in existence at the same time in our minds?
First of all, I'd like to go back. What was the name of the first person?
Porch Cats Comedy.
Hello, Porch Cats Comedy. You said hello and you waved to the second one, but you didn't say anything
Oh,
about the first one, and I didn't
yes,
want
I'm
to
sorry. Yeah.
not include them. Okay, so first of
Okay.
all, thank you for those comments. I think we've talked about this before where it's almost like in other religions they like pick and choose which parts of their religion that they want to adhere to. Though, growing up Catholic myself, although I'm not Catholic, I've seen that. And I can't imagine what would have happened had I gone to my priest for confession and say I went to a was it Babalu?
Babalao.
Babalao.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
the
It
penance that I would have had to pay for that.
the fact is Daniel has decided to have both of these traditions and religions exist in his mind at the same time. Whether or not we can judge him for it, I really don't know, because it seems to be like somebody who's Jewish who decides to eat pork, or somebody who's Muslim who decides to have premarital sex, or somebody who's Christian who decides to discriminate against a certain group. We're all guilty, but it's great to get the insight. And I thank those two commenters very, very much for helping us to discover what's going on here.
Before we move on, I just want to thank all of the people that have commented, subscribed, and rated us, because the amount of comments that we've received recently has just been overwhelming, and it's so exciting. Every time we get a
Yeah.
new one, I love the engagement. So
Yes.
thank you. Keep it up.
Yes. All right. Lisa is landing in Nigeria, in Lagos. She's a ball of nerves. She takes ages in the bathroom setting up her wig, her makeup, washing. And I thought, okay, Lisa, I understand you want to present your best self to Daniel for the first time. But what's wrong with showing up as you are? If he rejected you as you are, then you would know it's not real. It's a scam. Why go through with all of this fakery? If you want to find out the truth, be true to yourself, be real.
I 100% agree. I also wondered why we needed to have that shot of her cleaning her nether things. What
Yes.
was the purpose of that? I can't believe she signed off on that. That was gross. Another comment before we get to their meeting is, she said that she was going to be wearing her wigs 100% of the time, but I wondered, is she going to be gluing that wig on real good? Cuz what if he randomly pulls it?
Hmm.
Given what, she's
Mm-hmm. I
tried,
know. Mm-hmm.
what if he pulls it and it comes off? You're going to have a lot of explaining to do. Anyway, I really hope that that doesn't happen. Can we move on, please? The
Yes.
mental
Okay.
pictures are,
So
yeah.
they meet. The kissing, way with like 50,000 A's, way too much. He's definitely trying to distract her. Desperation comes out very, very loud and clear in this scene. She's acting. Oh my God, is it really you? Oh, straight from a Hallmark movie. Oh my. Like, please, please, people. What was your impression of their meeting? Okay. Did I capture it?
I hadn't seen it that way,
Okay.
but now that you say it,
Mhm.
it's all I can see.
Okay.
Just
Interesting. How did you see
overly,
it initially?
I thought it was fairly over the top, but fairly sweet. I love the dancers. I love the way that
Oh,
he incorporated his culture into the welcoming. I am going to be laughing about your acting, your incredible acting skills
thank you.
as soon as we get off this podcast, because otherwise we're not going to be able to finish. But that was one of the funniest things that I have seen in a very long time. Definitely the funniest thing I've seen this year, even though we're only 5 days in. I greatly look forward to watching that back.
Okay.
I truly, truly mean that.
So seriously, when they're done with the eating face scene, which it really was way too much.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It was a lot.
I feel like everything he was doing was an attempt to like fully enmesh her with him and to fully hook her into him. I feel like everything was very deliberate. The over the top kissing, the flowers, the dancers, the music, all of that. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's playing the game according to a certain set of rules that have an end goal of making her to fall into this trap. He wants her to fall into the trap so badly, and she's going to, because
You know,
she's going along with every little step that he's
she's an
provided to
easy
her.
target.
She's definitely an easy target.
And, I haven't sang on the show for a very long time, but I'm going to do it now. Manipulation.
Yeah, sing it. It is.
I acknowledge that that wasn't on key. of any sort.
The proposal was no surprise, not because we hadn't seen it last week, but just given everything that he's been doing thus far, it comes as no surprise that that was the next step.
It was as genuine as him pulling his member out of his pants.
I don't know how to
Here.
respond to that.
So I felt it was just like so like no effort. Here, this is what you can have. Will you accept? Not like even in a sexual sense, just
Mhm.
I know that this is what you want. Here, you may have it. It was just so, I didn't like it. It was so off putting. Maybe my mental pictures and my description is not resonating with you, and that's okay. However, that's how it felt to me. Just whipping it out and be like, this is good enough.
The other thing that crossed my mind, the member whipping out was not one of them, was the thought that the daughter made Lisa promise not to get married while she was in Nigeria. Okay, great. But did the daughter think to make Lisa not accept a proposal while she was in Nigeria?
Nah, that's a technicality and a loophole.
Shit. Reading on.
Oh my God.
Jovon and
Yes.
Annalyn.
So many things with this couple.
Oh,
I was just,
excellent.
oh, oh, what? I had to keep
Do tell.
rewinding it. I wasn't sure what was going on. Okay, so she said that she had to stop working and or cut her hours, change her schedule because the time difference. And we've seen
Yes.
this before with another couple. I forget who they were. They're
It's
quite
Forrest and
recent.
Sheena.
Oh, shoot. Okay, great. It was a while ago. No, it's current. Love that. But love the fact that he sends her $400 to $500 a month. Her mom says that she doesn't see her friends anymore. Okay. So now she's changing her schedule, limiting
Social
her
life?
thank you. And she mentions him talking to a woman who I think we talked about in the last episode. And then she says that there are problems that are worse. And I was like, oh, oh, what's what is worse? Go on. And her mom's
Yes.
going on about, they both have strong personalities, although she doesn't use those terms. And I'm like, okay, is that the problem? My comments on my note. Oh my dear Lord, he's a Tate fan.
He is. He's a tater. He's a tater tot.
He wants her to be submissive
Mhm.
and he has to be the man, she has to be the woman. Oh my, this was so I, I was laughing and trying not to vomit at the same time. Like, what a deplorable human being. Because before, he said that she changed after they got married, and it came out that he was talking to another woman. That's where her jealousy came from. And now it turns out that he's completely changed his view of women. Okay, well, you buried the biggest lead possible. You disgusting human being. Get off my screen. I now don't even want to watch the two of them. He is disgusting. What a deplorable human being. Okay, I think I'm done. Maybe not. Go on. Shall I add more?
We'll see. Okay, the alpha male thing is, yes, disgusting, and it's unfortunate that this came after the fact that they got married, so he is now changed and treats her differently as a result of what he is hearing in these podcasts and the knowledge that he is deciding to adopt as truth for himself. My question is, does he really believe this shit, or is he just posing? Is he going to find that when he's with Anna that he can let go of some of those rather ridiculous ideas that men are superior to women and then women should be subservient to the men, or not? And if not, then wow, good luck, Anna. I don't know if it's easy to get divorced in Philippines, but I hope so.
It is.
I really do hope
It is
so.
not. Well, I saw online today that it's like nearly impossible to get divorced in the Philippines, but you can get an annulment because they haven't consummated the
Yeah.
marriage.
Mm.
Hopefully they don't. so that she can get rid of the sorry excuse of a human being. The guy just disgusts me so much. But one of the things that he said that stood out to me was she can, and I quote, literally hold a conversation all on her own. What?
Yeah. Okay. So I think there's a little bit of equality in this relationship insofar as the craziness of their personalities are concerned. Because we've now seen that
Mhm.
Jovon is a follower of Andrew Tate. Bleh. And does kind of give off this manic energy. The way that she's changed her life to adapt to Javon's life seems so extreme,
Desperate.
desperate that it plays into this certain kind of personality trait, and I don't know what it is. I don't have the education to be able to explain it any more than I am now, but I'm just worried that she could turn on a dime and become very, very scary and volatile at any moment because of her dependency on him and because of this manic kind of like she's so laser focused, she doesn't seem to be balanced at all. And nor does he.
This feels unsafe.
Great word. Love it. It's an unsafe relationship. And I am extremely worried about this couple.
And I don't want to see what happens.
Okay. I do want to see what happens, but
No, I
I'm
just, mm, no, no, I
okay.
think it's too volatile. It
Hmm.
may become violent and not in like a Gino Jasmine violent kind of way, like a concerning kind of violence.
Yeah.
Not to say that anything that happened with Gino and Jasmine wasn't concerning, though this is like I'm worried
Worried.
about both of their safety. I can see her
Okay.
getting overly jealous and flipping her top. I can see him getting overly controlling and flipping his top. I'm not going to say it out loud. Pretty sure you can pick up what I'm putting down. I don't I feel like this couple's going to end up on Dateline. Let's just say it.
Okay. Let's read on. Let's go. Let's go to Laura and Birkan,
This was uncomfortable.
to say the least. So we find out that, in fact, the previous night when we had seen Laura go to bed by herself and Birkan stay up and watch TV, she actually went back out to the living room after the camera crews had left, and they ended up talking and then making out, which seems to have assuaged her worries somewhat.
I want to ask you,
Yes.
what is the definition of making out? I mean, I know what my definition of making out, but do you think that her definition of making out aligns with that?
My definition would be kissing in a prolonged kind of way, but nothing really more than that. Just lots of lip action. What do you think of making out as being?
With tongue?
Well, sure. Lip, tongue, mouth, teeth, whatever. The
No, what are you doing with your teeth?
sometimes clashing together. I- And okay, the usage of the mouth, is that okay?
Yes,
Does
yes,
that
yes.
encompass all the things?
But it just based on their chemistry, I would have been completely shocked if it
Yeah.
was anything more than like several pecks in a row.
Yeah. I can see them talking together on the couch, her getting closer and closer and closer to him. Maybe they hold hands. Maybe he kisses her hand at one point or another. Maybe she kisses his cheek. Maybe there is a small peck on the lips. But yeah, I do not believe that they were fully making out in that crushing, kissing, constant kind of way.
There's no way.
Okay, good. I'm
Especially
glad we
when
agree.
we look at, Lisa and Daniel at the airport.
Oh,
Could you
bleh.
see that with Laura and Birkan?
No, no,
Absolutely friggin' not. I don't
no.
believe that that happened. I think she's really
Embellishing.
thank you. That's the word. Okay, and then we find out that she slept alone.
Did we?
Love
Because
that.
I was listening and I didn't hear that. But there were lots of things going on. Tell me.
She said, "I slept alone."
She said she slept alone. So he slept in the other room.
I'm pretty sure he slept on the couch because she woke up, he
Oh,
wasn't there. She went out. They apparently made out on the couch. At no point did she say he went back to bed with her.
okay. Yeah,
I mean, that's what I got. I've been wrong before, however, that's what I got.
I was trying to listen very carefully, but I think I missed out. And that would align with what happens throughout this episode because again, we see his body language very obvious. He's not showing any interest. He's got his hands in his pockets when they're walking side by side on the street. So he's
Like,
not.
"Don't touch me."
Yep, very defensive. He's still at this point not making any eye contact with her, and he appears to be somewhat bored. He's not engaged in the situation. He's not actively interested in listening, or there's no inflection in his voice. It's just everything is so monotone. You'd think he was attending some kind of a lecture on a subject like, I don't know, knitting that he has zero interest in.
I'd be interested in that.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
man,
would
can we
I.
go back to, Martini Pat? Anyway, I wonder if her finding a man in Turkey just happened to align with her wanting to get surgery there. So maybe she wanted to kill two birds with one stone. And this is going to be the opportunity for her to get her surgery, for Birkan to fail, for Michael to come and save her, and then closed.
Mhm. Yeah, this scene was incredibly awkward.
And so
She
vulnerable for her.
so vulnerable. I think the most vulnerable that we've ever seen any 90 Day cast member at. I feel very strongly she should have done this alone or at least bring him to the appointment and then leave him in the waiting room while she goes to consult with a doctor so that she is the only one who's looking at the pictures and talking the gruesome details of what she's looking into.
As someone who has lost over 100 pounds, I can attest to the amount of skin that results from that. Mine wasn't nearly as prolific as hers. It just looked like I had just had a baby, even though I had lost 100 pounds. Again, good for her. I think after that amount of weight loss, you really need to come into your own, and you're not going to be doing that with that amount of extra skin attached to your body, because now you have a new outlook on who you are and what you should look like. So I applaud her for going to get the surgery. However, I really think that she needed to do this on her own time. He did not need to be there. I think his feigned support was just a bunch of philosophical platitudes. He
Mm.
really didn't care in any capacity. This is just his way to get to the States. Green card. BS.
Yeah.
Awful. Where's
He
Michael?
is he is 100% gunning for a visa to the US. He is using her. He's doing everything that he thinks he has to do to persuade her that he is the love of her life in order to get to the States, but he has no interest in her. This is not a relationship by any means. And as for her choosing to bring him to the appointment, I feel like her outlook has been so romanticized. You know, we heard in the very beginning how much she loves these erotic fiction novels. Like she lives also similar to Forrest in a kind of a fantasy land where everything should go according to a romantic novel plot. And that's what
And
she
Greta,
expects
our sweet Greta.
and Sweet Greta as well on the other way. But like this is incredibly personal stuff to discuss, look at, consider with somebody that you've just met in person for the very first time in your life. Like, what is she thinking? This is also on her. This is not just all him being a user and abuser in effect, because he's abusing her trust and her money and everything that's going to come along with it in order for him to use her in order to get to the States. Like she should know better than to trust this guy that is basically a stranger to bring him to her very intimate, very personal plastic surgery appointment, which is incredibly embarrassing and devastating for her.
And Michael is going to come and save her. Again, the end.
I really hope that he swoops in and takes her out of this situation. I would be so happy if that was the end result of this season, but I don't have a great feeling about it. She is so vulnerable. Birkan is playing the cards, saying the right things, but there's nothing behind it. There's no honesty, truth, integrity. I mean, it's all he could do to put his arm around her at the very end scene.
It's one of those like, there,
Yeah.
there. Let me pull out a Robert Frost poem for you to make you feel better. Remember when we were talking about he wants to sound so much more intelligent than he actually is? People on Reddit were saying that the book that he was reading while he was at the seaside or whatever was
Yeah.
like the most rudimentary philosophical book that you could ever read.
Oh, good
Anyway,
detail. I like that. Okay, let's move on to Emma and Ziad.
can we not?
Yeah, okay. Answer this for me because you said you'd worn wigs in the past. Do people actually buy hair oil for wigs?
No, well, I mean, I've never, all of the wigs that I have owned have been completely and utterly fake.
Okay.
And in my opinion, my answer is I don't know.
Okay. Fair enough.
I
I don't know
have
either.
worn wigs, but the most recent wig I had was teal. So that really doesn't say anything about the quality. All I can say is that it would make sense if you bought a human hair wig that needed extra attention for some reason, which is so strange to say. I don't know why she would need hair oil for the fake ass wig that she's wearing.
Okay, that's good enough. That explains it
At
right there.
at this point, she could just be using coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil, whatever has the highest burning temperature. I don't know. Smoke
All right.
temperature. I don't know.
Let's leave the hair behind, except that I do want to mention when they go to the cooking class next that her hair is all over the place and there's no hairnet. There's no tying back of the hair. The hair is everywhere,
And
and that
he
is
keeps
wrong.
fluffing it in front of her.
She's always
Why do you
fluffing her
keep
hair.
touching it?
She cannot stop. And
Clean.
the nails. Oh my God. Do these women ever cut their nails? Do they do anything practical? Do they do any kind of activity with their hands that requires dexterity? In which case, you can't have nails that are 3 inches beyond your fingertips.
We all know that none of them are doing embroidery. Let's be serious.
Their life is so much the less for it. But cooking, come on, dude. You can't cook with nails like that. You're going to cut them off with a knife. At the very least, you're going to get all kinds of gunk stuck under there. Blech.
Nutella.
And Nutella.
They'll
Nutella.
they'll they'll find a
Delicious.
way.
The snack that keeps on giving.
But I wanted to say, she said, well, I mean, they have this whole conversation that he hasn't stopped talking to people. She can't see his apartment. He won't introduce her to the family. This really reminds me of Mal Wow,
And
May
Ben.
he rest in peace.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. The subterfuge is very strong with this one.
Mhm.
There's definitely something going on. Now he does say that his family knows that Emma is there and that they're spending time together, though I doubt they know in what capacity or what their living arrangements, sleeping arrangements are, because I think if they knew that they were underneath the same roof, even though they're apparently, supposedly not sharing a bedroom, that they would be shocked at that.
And appalled. I am shocked and appalled.
Yeah, the whole approach that Emma takes to this conversation, I found absolutely hilarious. She is definitely fishing for something extremely specific. Have you ever talked to women in the United States or Europe? Have you ever?
Protection. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm singing again.
like she is very, very specific. She's very, very paranoid. And I was wondering, okay, is she setting a trap because she's waiting for him to say, no, I have never spoken with somebody who's in Europe. And then she could say, aha, but you have. Or, and I think this might be the correct question, is she projecting? Because the
No.
way that she talks about how she thinks stalking is a good thing, to me screams, this is advice for the guilty party. You've got to stalk your boyfriend or girlfriend in order to get the dirt on them so that you have ammunition for the point at which they discover that you've done something wrong.
Okay, two things. One, there was an overlap between Ziad and the last one. Okay, three things. Two, Perfect time for her to tell him about the previous one. And 3, her and Chloe should be friends.
Yeah. When she starts asking him questions about if he has these women in his past, and then he counters with, "Well, what about you? Have you been talking to anybody? Do you have any secrets that you want to talk about?" And when we first matched, way back, when we first matched, why were you quiet? Why did you disappear?
I was going through a breakup. I was going through a breakup. I was going through a breakup.
How many times did she say that? That
At least
complete
5.
non-answer.
At
Yes
least
or
5.
no? Were you seeing somebody else at the same time as me? That's it. I was going through a breakup. Huh?
Yeah, but were you considering the breakup? Were you planning the breakup? At what point was the actual breakup?
We already know. She's already admitted to the fact that her relationship that she had with the previous guy in Morocco that she was fiancéed with overlapped with Ziad, but she's not going to admit it to him at this moment because she doesn't like the way that he's asking her questions. Sure. Okay.
I have
Okay
I
then.
have a question. I have a
Yeah.
question.
Mm.
Why is her wig down here?
There is no answer to that question. I am coming up with nothing.
And I'm also going back to your first question. Why do you need hair oil for a fake ass wig?
I,
That's not a real hair wig.
I don't know. All I can think is that because she's in Morocco, she might think that this is the place to buy Moroccan oil. That's
Then just ask for Moroccan oil.
which is actually
Why
made
are you
in Israel, not Morocco.
and
Whatever.
you're not going to have the split ends and the frizz
We're
with
talking too much about hair. This woman is completely insane. And she won't admit to the truth when Ziad is asking her point blank, was there an overlap with me and this other guy? She won't answer. If she wanted him to be transparent with her, as she kept claiming in the last episode or two, then she needs to set the precedent. She needs to be honest with him, but she is not. That is all.
nope, nope. When you're given the opportunity to admit whatever secrets that you have,
Yes.
maybe you should take that opportunity
Yes.
and come clean. Why do you have to hold on to it and wait for a quote unquote better time? There is no quote unquote better time than what is presented to you in natural conversation.
You know what I think? And I think this is the same case for Rick and Trisha. Emma is waiting for her to find out, which is what the result of all of her pointed questions. She's waiting to find out something about Ziad, which can be used against him, so that if he objects to the fact later on when he finds out that she overlapped her relationship with him with her ex-fiance, then she could say, no, but you did this.
Throw it in his face.
You did something worse. I'm sorry, but you can't. I think that's what she's after. Rick's doing the
Well, she
same thing.
needs, I want to say the anti ammo.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
that that's an actual thing, but
Mm,
fighting fire with fire, it's like your mistake versus my mistake.
yep.
It's going to cancel each other out.
Hmm.
Yours is worse.
Yep. Yep.
Eh,
Yep.
Anyway,
Okay. Are we satisfied, or is there anything else to say?
no, again, I actually enjoyed this episode. I thought there was quite a bit that happened. It's not a filler, so I'm quite happy with
Good.
it. And
Five
I don't know
stars?
why that bothers me so much.
It's unusual. Yes?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. Before we go, if you're enjoying the 90 Day Fiancé Honestly podcast, please subscribe to or give a show a follow. If you have an additional moment, please rate us and help other 90 Day fans to find our show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next week.